From a distance, it looks like a battleship standing in the sea. But actually, it is a small city which has been completely destroyed today. At some point, more than 5,000 people lived on this small island. And it was not only Japan's but also the world's most densely populated city. There were apartments here whose concrete has now rotten. People's stuff is still present in them. It seems that the people living here have left everything behind and fled from here. There were schools here where the children's voices used to be heard. There were all the facilities here including hospitals, town halls, swimming pools, shops and cinema that should be in a city. But today this whole island, the whole city looks like a deserted ghost town. But why? Why not one of the thousands of people living here today does not live here? What happened here was that Japan stopped tourists from going to this island for 35 years. Welcome back to Untold Facts videos viewers. This island is called Hashima, which is located 15 kilometers away from the city of Nagasaki, South China Sea. Because this island looks like a battleship, it is also called a battleship island. There are about 500 islands in this part of the sea, which have no population. But Hashima's story is quite different from these. As seen, other islands are quite green, but Hashima Island is a very big stone above the sea, where there is no plantation. Hashima Island played a big role in boosting Japan's economy, and its most important thing was coal mining. In the last 150 years, around 1.65 crore tons of coal was extracted from the bottom of the sea. This much coal can produce electricity for India for a month and Mexico for 10 months. In 1800s, people living on Takashima Island got coal scattered on the ground. At first, they didn't know about it, but then a man named Kohita accidentally found out about its heating properties. After that day, people of Takashima Island started collecting coal scattered on the ground. They kept their houses warm with it. As time passed, in 1850, Nagasaki had become an international shipping port. Between America and China, it was a stop power port where international cargo sailing ships had to stop. Western countries, i.e., Great Britain and USA, were replacing their sailing ships with steam engines. To operate them, they needed one thing, and that was coal. When those ships had to stop at Nagasaki port, they needed coal for refueling. And this coal was scattered a little away from Nagasaki on Takashima Island. When coal demand increased, the islanders started to sell it from the ground. As soon as they saw it, coal was finished from the surface of Takashima Island. Then they stopped at the nearby islands, where Hashima was the only island with a lot of coal. At that time, old school methods were used to extract coal, in which mostly hands were used. Now, the use of hands was not enough to meet the increasing coal demand. That is why in the 19th century Mitsubishi bought Hashima Island. At that time Mitsubishi was a shipping company which decided to start proper coal mining on Hashima Island. Mitsubishi built houses for workers here, and made a sea wall to protect the island from the sea waves. This is why this island looks like a ship today. In 1916, there were 3,000 workers living here, who used to extract 150 tons of coal from the ground every year. Due to the small size of Hashima Island, there was very little space to live here. So Mitsubishi built a concrete residential complex here so that as many workers as possible could live here with their families. This used to be Japan's largest concrete building at that time. But it was still very small for the workers to live here. After that, the number of workers on Hashima Island increased and Mitsubishi continued to build new complexes here. Along with this, the schools and entertainment centers of workers' children were also built. In 1941 coal production reached 410,000 tons per year on Hashima Island, which was increasing day by day. In 1959 the total population of the island was 5,200. Now if we see, the total area of the island is 15.5 acres. If we do simple math, there were 335 people living in 1 acre. Such a large population has never been found in any country in the world. You can guess from this that China, where the population density is today 84 people per acre, according to that, 335 people lived in 1 acre in Hashima at that time. The workers who lived here say that one room shared 3 workers, but only 2 workers slept in it. And the third worker had to sleep in the cupboard. Talking about the mine, it was made 1 kilometer below the Hashima Island where the temperature was 35 degrees Celsius and humidity was 95%. In these harsh conditions, the workers' work was not at all free from danger. While working on the coal mine of Hashima Island, many workers have died. Even before World War II, Chinese and Korean prisoners were forced to work on mines. The whole world has criticized Japan for this. That is why after World War II, when the Japanese Empire was overthrown, Japan built many facilities for workers on Hashima Island to improve its impression. like cinema, gymnasiums, high schools, and entertainment centers. All these facilities were kept free for the workers here. But for this, the workers had to work hard in the maintenance of the island. Fresh water for drinking was brought from mainland Japan. But later, water lines were laid in the sea, which would connect from mainland Japan. In the 1960s, Hashima Island was at its peak. And the Japanese economy was also benefiting from it. But this was the time when the downfall of coal engines began in the world. Coal was considered a loss to the environment and oil started replacing coal. Due to this, coal demand started to decrease in the international market and coal mines started to close down slowly. Mining on Hashima Island was already very difficult. Because it was cut off from the mainland and often there were tsunami and sea storms in the South China Sea. Mitsubishi had built a protection wall around the island, but due to these storms, this wall would often break. Due to which extra expenses were also incurred on its repair. Due to all these difficulties, Hashima coal mine was no longer profitable. In 1970s, Mitsubishi removed 2,000 workers or adjusted them to other facilities. And finally, on January 15, 1974, the company officially shut down Hashima coal mine. Thousands of workers left Hashima Island without job and employment. In the history of Hashima Island, a whole generation of people grew up here. But all those memories had to be left behind here. Today, Hashima presents the view of a forgotten Kandar Island in the South China Sea. For many years, the Japanese government had sealed this island and the violator was severely punished. Many people said that Japan wanted to hide the real reality of forced labor camps from the world. But Japan said that this rule was made to stop theft on the island. Hashima was rediscovered in the 21st century and became quite famous in the shape of ghost town. Especially those who were fond of ghost towns or ruins. In 2005, Japan officially opened Hashima Island for tourists. Officials have tried to repair the buildings many times, but because their reinforced concrete has rotten and due to harsh weather conditions, it is not possible to work. Here, some buildings have fallen due to typhoons and other buildings are close to falling. Only a small part of the island has been repaired and tourists are allowed to go here. The location of this ghost town also attracts filmmakers. Here, the Life After People TV series of 2009 was shot. In 2011, James Bond's Skyfall movie's many thriller scenes were also shot on Hashima Island. In 2009, Japan requested to put Hashima Island in the UNESCO World Heritage Site list. But South Korea, North Korea and Chinese government opposed it. They said that it was a game with the feelings of the survivors who were forced to work here. Finally, the compromise between them was that Japan would accept forced labor in the 1940s and forced labor will also be mentioned in the heritage site history. I hope you will like and share this video of Untold Facts. Thank you so much for your loving comments. See you in the next video.